Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Couples Academy show. My name is Hassani.
And I'm Danielle.
And every day we come to you, but today's a special day. Why? Because it's Relationship Q&A. And so you have the opportunity of sending us a chat or text at 678-200-8996. But certainly, no matter what platform you're on, whether it's Facebook, whether it is YouTube, put that question in the chat so that we can engage in a phenomenal conversation.
Good morning, everybody. Yes, as Hassani said, go ahead, drop your questions. We go through them pretty quickly, and we're going to try to get through as many as we can. However, sometimes it's just a good question, and we got to go deep on it. So get your pen and your notebook and make sure you're ready to take the notes. Welcome, everybody, to Q&A Friday. We love answering your questions. Make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. And when you come on here, just drop a little note to us and say good morning. Let us know that you're there and where you're from. All right?
And just know, you can ask a question about anything. It could be about dating. It could be about your marriage, infidelity, trust issues, communication, intimacy. There's so much that we talk about. That's why we love this particular day. And so listen, let's get started. You're listening to the Couples Academy show. We're Hassani and Danielle Pettiford, founders of Couples Academy, a private practice dedicated to saving marriages around the world.
We're not just recognized authorities on relationships. We're a real couple with real problems who almost called it quits.
We have 4 children, going on 20 years of marriage, and we practice what we preach.
Our mission? To change the way couples relate to one another and teach them the skills needed to improve the quality of their relationships.
This is the Couples Academy show.
Welcome back, guys. Again, it's Relationship Q&A today, and we are very excited to jump into these questions that we have coming in left and right. But I'm just going to welcome all of my live watchers because we want to acknowledge you, because we actually want you to come on here live and watch with and participate with us at 9 a.m. Monday through Friday. So I want to welcome you, Zach and Tori and Yolanda and A Faithful Miss LaShawn, and so many others are coming in. Welcome to the show, guys, and we're going to jump into the first question.
All right, the first question comes from Monique. Let's hear it.
In relationships, they tell you that you have to compromise. But I want to know, how much is too much compromise? I know I'm supposed to bend. I know he's supposed to bend. But exactly how much bending are we supposed to do?
Compromise, this is a necessary conversation to have, because many people ask the question, because the general, I guess conventional wisdom says, hey, in order to make a relationship work, you've got to learn how to compromise, because compromise is the key to a successful relationship. Well, folks, we believe that compromise is a curse word. Just as you F-bomb your spouse sometimes, compromise is a curse word, a word that you should never use.
In our house.
Straight up in our house.
Compromise is a curse word in our house.
Yeah, because a compromise is a win-lose scenario. Someone wins, someone loses. The person who's always losing and they're always compromising, always accommodating, always going along with, all right, fine, whatever you want. They're trying to keep the peace. They're trying to avoid an argument. They're doing it to resolve an immediate situation. But over the course of time, the one who's always compromising feels like they're the one getting the short end of the stick. And so they get to a point where they can't take it anymore and they're done.
And I think the thing with compromise is that that's where you get into the whole, well, we'll just agree to disagree thing too. Like, if I have to compromise and bend every time to your will, I'm not ever winning, right? We're agreeing to disagree in heart and spirit, to be honest, right? We're not on the same page. I'm just going along to get along. I'm just not wanting to create an argument or anything like that. So, and it's typically one person all the time that's bending. But instead, we believe in negotiation. And that's a much better way to handle it, because now we both get to bring our issues to the table, discuss them, and then come up with something that works for both of us. So get rid of that word compromise. And I know the person who wrote that question is probably thinking, well, I'm always the one compromising here. When do I have to stop compromising? It's really about getting your spouse on the same page and helping them to understand how negotiation is so much better so that we both can win.
And when you negotiate, you're following the policy of joint agreement. And the fact is, most likely both of you are on opposite ends of an issue, of a topic. So we already know that starting out. The question is, how do we meet in the middle? So the policy of joint agreement says that we both have an enthusiastic agreement about the decision that we think is best for us. You hear? We, us, our, as opposed to me, she, or he, she, me, her. So that's what you have to do. You have to figure out how to begin to do that. And there's a process we take couples through, and they're able to literally resolve issues that they've struggled with for years. And I think sometimes we overcomplicate things. We allow emotions to get in the way. We have the wrong atmosphere when we're trying to negotiate. They become very emotional, very feeling oriented, and nothing logical or practical can come out of that situation. So listen, if you need help working through your issues, sometimes it's good to have a third party, particularly if it's a big issue. Just having a third party in the middle of it can help guide you through to a process where you're both on the same page. So that's how we deal with compromise. Hey, we have another question that came in from Zoe Clark. It says, what do I do about my husband's mistress that won't go away? Now, this is interesting. We don't know the particulars of your situation. We've worked with a lot of clients where this has been a problem for a number of different reasons. Like, for instance, if the mistress is a parent of a child that is shared, if the mistress is an ex-spouse that won't go away. You know, I need more details because, for instance, if I'm married and I divorce and I have an affair with my former spouse, but we have children together, then that mistress isn't going away.
Yeah, and actually, so I want to make a differentiation and just focus on the mistress who is not a baby's mama. Because I feel like today's mistress is not the mistress of old, where, you know, she gets caught and she's ashamed and dragged out into the street and stoned and pummeled, like, shame on you, mistress. Like, it's really not like that anymore. Now the mistress is proud. The mistress is strong. The mistress is competitive and about to win and will do anything she can to make sure that she does. She's the one that doesn't have necessarily the responsibilities of the house and the children and the marriage. She's the one that gets to be the fantasy and be available at all times. And so she's battling for your position. And so that is a very serious issue, I feel like, nowadays, that you don't have these mistresses that when they get caught, they're ashamed. And that is partly the big slippery slope that we get ourselves into when we step outside of our marriage, because depending on the situation, you could be in a lot of danger. People have lost their jobs. People have lost their lives. I mean, people have lost their livelihood over a mistress, having a mistress on your job where it's illegal on your job to do so. And now this mistress is holding something over your head. So I think it's a delicate balance that you have to walk depending on the situation with this mistress, how she's coming at you. But I think the foundation of it all is being on the same page with your husband. If you're on the same page with him and he is honestly trying to shut this thing down and be done with it, number one, get yourself into some counseling so we can walk you through that process, because there's a specific way to do that and make it clear to the other woman that this is over, right? And then once you do that, once you follow those steps to make it clear, now you stand by each other. You do not allow this mistress to call. You block the phone. There is no more entry points or access to you. And if she does something crazy like showing up at your house on the lawn or something like that, or showing up at your job, now that's when you get the authorities involved. That's how you deal with these, you know, shameless mistress of 2021.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. Those steps are exactly the steps. And we take you through it to ensure that it happens, because we've had clients that have had to get the law involved and have had to have all types of orders filed against individuals, because what happens is sometimes they'll use social media to humiliate, right? And so you have to build up a case. If you're dealing with that type of situation, you have to build up a case. You know, whoever controls the paperwork wins. So you want to build up all of the information that you have, store it. I mean, there's a lot of different things that you can do, but ultimately your point is absolutely right. But being on the same page is critically important. And what we found is that a lot of times people don't really close the door. They don't seal that window shut. They don't lock things down. There's a crack there. Not because they're looking for something to continue, but maybe they didn't approach the ending of that affair the correct way, so the proper messaging hasn't been clearly delivered. So these are things that you can do, but reach out to us if you're still struggling with this particular situation. We've dealt with it before.
So we have another question here from Zach. It says, I've noticed it doesn't seem difficult for the betrayer to want to be intimate, especially since they've just been forgiven. But how does the betrayed feel attracted to their spouse again?
Yeah, this is a real issue because intimacy oftentimes is a struggle.
leave that up a little
because
I'm going to leave that up for a little
Oh,
bit.
okay. It's a struggle because guess what? You've just taken advantage of our relationship. You've betrayed it. And now I have all types of feelings and emotions attached to our sexuality. And, we've talked about how some people go into sexual overdrive because the betrayed spouse, now they're competing with the affair partner. So now they want to outperform what that affair partner did. And they're using intimacy or sex as a way to feel sexy, to feel worthy, to feel wanted, to feel desired. And so they are having it every day, several times a day, and they're using it as a tool. Now, it's short-lived because first of all, that's not long lasting. Mm-hmm. So and once you go through that phase, then you may slip into an asexual relationship where you don't want it at all. You're so disgusted by your partner and what he or she did that you can't even think about him touching you, you touching him, whatever the case may be. And then you transition into another phase where you're engaging again, but it's so emotional. This emotional fragility is taking place. You're weeping during the act. You need to stop. You need to pause. You're triggered. Is this what you like with her? Is this what you've experienced? So you're dealing with all of these triggers and emotions, and really your focus has to be your personal healing, because when you're in a hurt place, no matter what you do, the experience is going to be hurtful. But when you're healing and you become whole and complete, any experience that you have is going to come across extremely different.
Yeah, and I'm a big proponent of doing a sex fast, and you can do a 7-day, which 7 days is not really that much and may not have that huge impact when there's been infidelity. We like a 30-day sex fast, and what that does, because of the fact that you're in this heightened state of emotions and you are emotionally triggered and going through what we like to say PISD, post-infidelity stress disorder, it's very difficult to control the thoughts of your mind, and your body will involuntarily shut down on you where you cannot feel physically aroused. You do not have this emotional connection anymore. You just feel hurt and you just feel pain. And if you compound that with images and thoughts and things of that nature, it's really a lot to handle. And we always say sex without intimacy feels like rape anyway. So what this 30-day sex fast does, it allows you to take sex off the table, physically connecting in that way, and instead focusing on intimacy. And at that time, that's all you need is intimacy, being able to look at each other in the eyes, learning how to do that again, because after an infidelity, there's a tremendous amount of shame. You can't look at each other. A lot of times you can't touch each other or hold hands anymore. Hugs feel weird. That's the stuff that you want to begin to work on for those 30 days. And when you take sex off the table, it's not even on the mind. You know that you can get as intimate as you want to, and you don't have to go there. It actually allows you to reconnect in a way that you wouldn't be able to if you feel the obligation of having sex. And that's something that you don't decide on your own. You actually sit down with your spouse and discuss what you're going through and how you think that this process would really help you. And that's something that we help our couples do as well.
And also for the one who was unfaithful, he or she has to be sensitive to where you are at, right? When they begin to understand the individual journey that you're going on and how much sex is a trigger, they should have an awareness, and they should be able to accommodate that. And at the end of the day, the unfaithful partner cannot control the betrayed spouse's recovery process. What the timeline should be, everybody's completely different. But the key is, if you are the betrayed spouse, you want to be getting help. They say it takes upwards of 2 years to heal, but that's if you're getting help. If you're not getting help and you're just trying to do it on your own, it can be a lot longer. So don't sit in the pit of your pain. Do something about it to get out of it.
Tori says, just learned my insecure husband of 8 years has never trusted me, lied throughout the marriage, slept with someone before proposing, and just had an affair, but now wants to fix things. What should I do?
That seems like about 95% of the couples who come to Couples Academy. We say this all the time. There's 3 types of couples we work with. Couple number 1, they both want the marriage. Couple number 2, one wants it, one's unsure. Couple number 3, one wants it, one does not. But no matter what state you're in, they still go through a process because maybe they're coming in it for different reasons. We just had a discovery call last night with a couple who they represent couple number 3. One wants it, one does not. But yet in the process, we say this all the time, don't allow your feelings and emotions to dictate what you should do. When you're in an unhealthy place, when you're in a hurtful place, any decision you make will not be the best decision for you. And it may be a decision that you'll regret. Rather, let the process that we take you through help make the decision for you, because it becomes crystal clear on what it should be. Someone asked a question about, you know what, we're going through this recovery process. We just had our first day, but I don't know if my spouse is sincere. I don't know if he wants to be in this marriage for me or because of the convenience of being in the marriage. And I said, well, you have the benefit, because they're in a controlled separation. I said, you have the benefit of this controlled separation because his actions will prove what his true desire and intent is. Because anybody could say things in a conversation, anyone can make promises, anyone can seem sincere, but do his actions line up with his words? And sometimes you won't know where a person's heart really is unless you go through a process, and a controlled separation allows for that. So whether it's a controlled separation, whether you're in the home together, it's not just about what happens in the session, because in the session, that's where you find out what the work is that you need to do when the session is over. If they're willing to do the work, if they're reading, if they're trying to become a better version of themselves, if they're getting individual counseling, if they're a part of a support group, if they're diligent in the assessments and the assignments and the projects that we're giving you in between the sessions, it's an indication that his heart is in the right place, and you can begin to trust that.
I guess I'm wondering if you want to do the work, because it sounds like to me from the very beginning of this relationship, it was onset by lies and infidelity. I mean, we're talking 8 years now that he has been, that 8 years of marriage, saying that he has had an affair before the marriage. And now you're finding out that he was in an affair. What is happening in your relationship right now that he is now wanting to fix it? Have you had enough? Have you told him I'm leaving? You know, I feel like there's so much more to this story, and a lot of it has to do with you needing to get strong, clear, and centered on what is going on. I mean, there's no way you can be in a marriage for 8 years dealing with this stuff and you haven't somehow buried your head, somehow kicked a lot of stuff under the rug that you've been seeing, dealing with, and just trying to overcome for 8 years. And now it sounds like here we are again, right? Right here talking about he wants to fix it. So what is he going to do this time that's different from the last time? And then what are you going to do different this time?
There it is. Say that again.
What are you going to do different
one more time,
this
like a
time?
DJ, and I'm scratching the record and it's
What are
pooping
you going to
again?
do?
There
What
it
are you
is.
going to do? What are you going to do different this time? Okay? Because we can be in this pattern for years and years and years, and we are already 8 years into this. And it sounds like even now, after all of that, whatever promises he made, here you are discovering another affair. I think you need to make a call and get in a discovery session and let us know what's really going on so that we can give you some good counsel about this situation.
And let me just add to that, because overwhelmingly, the majority of people who are in a situation like that, they're stuck. They don't know what to do, because we say this all the time. We are triune beings, but there's also something called the quadrinity identity. Without getting too technical, there's 4 aspects of us. There's our spiritual self, there's our emotional self, there's our intellectual self, and then we have our physical body. And oftentimes we're hearing different messages from different things that are conflicting. So what is the spirit saying? The spirit is saying, be still and know that I am God. What are my emotions saying? Get the heck out, because I can't take this pain anymore. What's my intellect saying? Well, I have children and financial situations, and we've been together for 8 years. Maybe there's something there. What are you feeling in your physical body? I'm stressed, I'm tired, I'm exhausted. So because I'm hearing all of these competing voices saying different things, I don't know what to do. And so you make a decision out of your own desperation, and oftentimes it's something that you regret. That's why you need to attach yourself to someone who has wisdom. Even the Bible says that when there's a multitude of counsel, there's safety. So come on and set up a discovery call with Couples Academy, and let's figure out how we can help you out.
Vincent says, if she doesn't want to talk or work on it, should I just quit and give up? You know, I got to go back to one of my oldest mentors ever who changed my life, Sarah Otterbach, who would say to me, what is the Spirit saying to you? Right? We would go, and she was like the wise oracle, and we would be like, what do you think about this? She would say, what is the Spirit saying to you? Because there's stories in the Bible where, what is Gomer? What is the other guy? Gomer and
Hosea.
And Hosea. where the Lord would not release Hosea, right, from this woman who was always going out in the streets. So that's an extreme situation. But here we are, your wife sounds like she does not want to communicate with you anymore. She's kind of put her position out there, but there's still you. You are still a major factor. And if there's still some hope, if there's still some faith, if you still have some grace, then you can draw a circle around yourself and you can be the change. It just might take some time, not knowing all the details in the relationship. This is something that you've got to know from within, because I say this all the time. When somebody is fed up and they are done, right? When the last straw has come and that's it, there's really not much you can do. It seems like it's just too late, far gone and over. And this is usually when we see men trying to step in and fix things, when they're long gone. You know, they've been separated for 6 months. She's moved out and moved on, right? But if she's still under your roof, if there's still something that you can do to contribute to the situation, maybe there's some hope, but you got to look within yourself to see if that's true.
I think, as they say, it's not the size of the dog in the fight, but the size of the fight in the dog. And I know so many men who are punks, and they throw in the towel, they give up, they call it quits. The first sign of defeat, the first sign of a disagreeable spouse, the first sign of disinterest, you pay too much attention to what they say. People speak they're speaking in their emotions and they're in their feelings, and they know how to say things to push a button. They know how to say things to shut things down. They know exactly what to do to show their disinterest. And oftentimes we're not willing to stay in the fight long enough to see a change.
Yeah.
I mean, we were in that situation. Danielle was done. She was closed off. She was shut down. But I didn't allow what I saw to be the determining factor in terms of what I would do. I had to ignore the facts. I had to not pay attention to how she was showing up. I had to remain committed and resilient, and I had to have stick-to-itivism. I had to work. I had to push. I had to convince her. I had to convince myself. I had to pray. I had to pray as if everything depended upon God, but I had to work as if everything depended upon me. I sought counsel. I read books. I made changes. I was consistent. I did what I needed to do. And guess what? Slowly but surely, things began to change. So I think a lot of times we're looking at our current situation and we're saying, oh, well, I might as well throw in the towel. She don't want it. She said this one day. She's saying this another day. And sometimes I have so many men who come to me and say, why don't you just make a decision? Like, I'm not trying to waste my time in a relationship with somebody who don't want it. Well, Joker, really? Wait a minute, really? So think about what you did. Think about the hurt that she's going through. Think about what she's enduring. Understand, there's a marriage story that you have together, but there's an individual story that each of you have. Maybe she's shut down and saying nothing. Maybe she's constantly going at it and she's at 10. But you have to understand, if you were unfaithful, there was pain and brokenness that caused you to do what you did. When you did that and she discovered it, it created pain and brokenness in her. Her pain and brokenness was then redirected back towards you. That's the crazy cycle. So now everybody's hurt for different reasons. And now what do we do about it? Right? So if you contributed to that pain, you are obligated. It is your responsibility to contribute towards that healing. And so you got to be able to endure the fight. Sometimes you got to go through a long struggle to get to the other side. It's just like a journey. You get in a plane. Guess what? There may be turbulence. Right? It may be bumpy. Can you decide to get off the plane because you don't want to take the journey? You will die. Will that plane turn back around because you're uncomfortable? Nope. You've got to endure. But guess what? You wind up landing. You get off. It was successful. So in this process, in this journey, it's not going to feel comfortable. It's not going to be easy. It's not going to be pleasant. There are going to be some dark days, and some days are worse than others. But that's the journey you have to take in order to recover. But guess what? On the other side of that journey, oh my God, what a beautiful destination. And we know so many couples who've had great relationships after the discovery of an affair because they went through the right process and they were willing to do whatever it took. And so that's what my message would be for you and all of us who are watching who feel like my spouse just is not interested. Well, that's how they're supposed to feel. That's what they're supposed to do. They're supposed to shut down. They're supposed to be in pain. They're supposed to be hurt. They're supposed to be mad because of what has happened. But we don't want to stay trapped In that sufferer pattern, we want to transition into the explorer pattern, but it takes work and commitment to get to that other side.
And amen to that. And we are living proof to it. Here we stand after all that work and commitment and that drawing of this circle around your feet and me actually waking up to the fact that, wow, there's real change taking place here. And maybe I should draw a circle around my feet too and see what's going on with me. And that's when the journey began. And you guys can do it too.
And so listen, maybe you're hearing this right now and you're saying, I need something that's going to change my situation. I need something fast. I need something soon. One of the things that you can do is contact us at couplesacademy.org, because we take you through this very comprehensive assessment that will begin to peel back the layers to show you what's going on in the relationship. It's something called the Gottman assessment. Listen, it's the relationship check-in. I'm gonna tell you, the couples who go through that are amazed at how everything can begin to shift and change in their relationship. And so I want to share some information about that. We'll be right back. You're listening to the Couples Academy Show. Have you been struggling with issues that have gone unresolved for significant amounts of time? Are you desperate for change but don't know exactly what to do? Well, Couples Academy has the answer. The Gottman Relationship Checkup is a clinical tool that scientifically evaluates relationship strengths and challenges through a comprehensive assessment based upon 40 years of research. With it, each partner completes the assessment in 5 key sections: friendship and intimacy, trust and safety, conflict management, shared meaning, and individual areas of concern. This personalized report provides detailed analysis, flags areas of concern, and suggests specific treatment options that we will discuss together. The insight gained from this assessment will help to take you off the road of recovery and place you on the path to fulfillment. If you're ready to experience quantum growth in your marriage, contact Couples Academy today. So folks, from the Gottman assessment to the Enneagram assessment, these are tools that we have that we provide our clients that allow for transformation, restoration of their relationship. Listen, if you were to go to a mechanic and you said, listen, something's wrong with my transmission, and he looked under the hood and started messing around and touching things, and yeah, I think that's the problem. I don't know how much confidence you would have in his expertise, but if you took your car to a mechanic and they connected it to machines and did a diagnostic test and had a printout and it was giving you statistics and history and what's connected to what in this entire document explaining what needs to be done and what timetable, that is something that you can trust. And that's an example of the tools that we use that will help you turn your relationship from the existing pain that you're currently experiencing into the bliss that you seek to have. And so contact us. Let's figure out how we can help you. I think we got a couple more questions, right, Danielle?
Del Trick says, I'm the betrayer and my wife is so tired of me. I recently confessed to something I've done and she wants a divorce. We've been married 10 years and we have never had help. She's not willing, but I am. Wow.
Yep. Sounds like what we were just talking about, and it sounds like about half of the couples who come to us. So let me just say, the knee-jerk reaction of someone who discovers an affair is exactly what your wife is sharing. I'm done. I'm out. It's over. I don't want it anymore. And so
she's tired.
She's tired. And I don't think that should surprise anyone. Mm-mm. That should have been the expectation when you were having the affair, that if it came out, that's where she would be. Mm-hmm. Does that mean that that is where she will always be? Not necessarily, because, sometimes it takes some processing for a person to kind of assess their situation and then to hear something was possible. So, once again, what she needs to focus on is her personal healing. So if she needs individual counseling, she should come to us. If she's willing to see what's possible, even if she's not interested in the marriage, but she needs to have a relationship with you because you have children, you need to contact us, because in that process, other things may be revealed, and she may see that maybe there's a possibility that we can stay together, heal this relationship, and also be good for the children. So you have to fight, as I just mentioned. You can't just go along with what she's saying in the moment, because all things are subject to change.
I think also, in addition to that, when I hear the word she's tired, it indicates to me that this is something that has been an epidemic in your marriage. It's a constant thing. Here we go again with it. And so in addition to, of course, she's got to find her healing, right? You're not able to provide her any peace of mind because it keeps happening. I think at this point, it's really about you finding your healing. What's going on with you, and that's where you would start. It's not at this point, if she is tired and she is unwilling and you're willing to do the counseling, then you need to get into some strong therapy to find out, why is it that I keep stepping out on my wife to the point where she has tired, where I have exhausted her of her grace? Because we all know, right, that women, we can be there for our men, and we can handle a lot of emotional pain. We carry a lot. Physical pain, I mean, we're the ones that bear children here. We are strong, and we will stand beside you if we can believe in you, if we can believe that there is hope for a brighter future. But if you have ripped out from her any sense of hope, then we can't expect anything from her right now. All we can expect from you is to say, okay, I am the problem, which it sounds like you are saying right here, and get yourself into some good counseling that'll help you deal with whatever's going on with you. It could be a sexual addiction that has, as a result of something that happened way back when you were a little boy. That's the stuff that we're talking about when it comes to self and personal development. We need to figure out what's going on with us individually so that we can be better for one another. Next question here. Vincent Jones says, I've been trying for 6 months, maybe trying the wrong way. She's a travel nurse, been home 20 days since July 28th. There's another nurse guy, and I was served papers Tuesday. It sounds like to me, this person's wife is looking to exit the relationship for somebody else.
Reach out to us, guys. That's what we can say. Listen, I hope this was helpful. It seems like some of these questions are really flowing with previous questions, so it's the same type of scenario. Just reach out to us. We are the Couples Academy show. Every single day we come to you. Today was Relationship Q&A. I hope that you got your questions answered.
Ran out of time.
We want you to have an amazing weekend. We know we will be. We've got 5 couples from all over the country who are going to be joining us, so make sure you send some prayers. Give us some positive vibes. We're going into work this weekend, and we're going to come back on Monday with a great testimony about transformation in people's marriages. Listen, reach out to us with the Couples Academy show, 678-200-8996. Love you guys. See you on Monday.
Bye.
Take care.
If you would like to be a guest on our show, or if you're interested in one of our restoration programs, contact us today at couplesacademy.org.